Okay, we're back at the towards the end of the day here in San Francisco, live for the HBase conference, the first inaugural conference for HBase. I'm John Furrier, the founder of SiliconANGLE.com, SiliconANGLE.tv's exclusive coverage of the Hadoop ecosystem, and we're proud to be here. John Hsieh, did I get that right?
Yep, John Hsieh.
Hsieh, I butchered it a few times. Welcome back. So you work for Cloudera, I know that because we worked together, although I didn't work for Cloudera, I'm in the same office. What employee number were you?
I'm number 15.
Yeah, you're close. Okay, so you're under 20 in the early employees?
Yeah, definitely.
Todd didn't know whether he was a 10 or 11 or 12. I guess,
He's like a 10, I think.
He's like 10?
Yeah.
So you've been there for a while. So tell me, what do you think of what's going on right now? Just on a personal level, the ecosystem. You're heavily involved in the community. You oversee a lot of the development early on, and now you guys have hundreds and hundreds of employees. How do you, what's going on?
I think we're here at HBaseCon, which is kind of like, HBase is kind of like the next system that's built on top of Hadoop. Like we started off with Hadoop, focused on the core storage and processing platform. And now we're focused here today on HBase, which is kind of like this system that gives you this real-time reading and writing and random reading and writing, which basically is going to open up a whole new set of applications that you can deal with at this big data level. So I think that one thing that we're seeing a lot of Cloudera is all the Cloudera customers are using HDFS and MapReduce. But I would say a very large percentage of our customers are looking to HBase to solve that next set of problems. Now that we can store all the data, now that we can process all of it, some of these jobs will take hours or 15 minutes or a large amount of time before you get an answer. And the next kind of level is like, how do we get answers in milliseconds?
So someone asked me, this coming back to my Catholic roots, but they asked me, John, what's the holy trinity of big data relative to the ecosystem? Is it HDFS, MapReduce, and HBase now? Or is there other elements? Those seem to be the core coming together. Is it 4? Is it 3?
I mean, I think most people who are users of the ecosystem are probably definitely using HDFS, definitely using MapReduce. I think more people will probably come into a Hive or a Pig necessarily before they come to an HBase.
HBase is scalable.
HBase is scalable. HBase is scalable. I mean, there's certain things that you're going to want to bang against just MapReduce directly against HDFS. But if you're thinking about serving real live traffic, HBase is potentially an option for doing that. Whereas you would never consider using HDFS for that.
Yeah.
Right. And if you want to potentially get like up to the second counters and statistics, people like Facebook and people like OpenTSDB. Use HBase so that they can get up to the second or up to the...
What's
OpenTSDB is an open time series database. And it's a project by one of the guys at Stumble, Benoit. He goes by the nickname Suna, T-S-U-A-N-A. And they basically use it to run all their metrics, application level metrics.
That's an open source project.
It's an open source project. It is, I believe it's GPL licensed, but it runs on top of HBase. So it's built to take advantage of what HBase can do with real-time reads and writes, and efficiently stores metric information, be it host level or application level, and presents visualizations so that you can actually kind of
low latency or
low latency. Like you will see, basically up to the hundreds or tens of milliseconds ago, as opposed to having to wait for like a Hive job to come back after 15 minutes. So, I mean, that's definitely kind of a use case. The Facebook guys have talked about something very similar. They have their own internal version of a system similar for keeping track of internal Facebook application metrics, and even their health management for their internal clusters.
So what are you working on right now these days? Because I know you had multiple roles and you're doing a lot of different stuff, project-wise within Cloudera. What's your core thing now that you're working on?
So these days I primarily focus on HBase, and up until recently I've been primarily focused on kind of a combination of two things. A lot of what has happened is because we have this large uptake of customers and users, HBase is a little bit more immature than in HDFS or MapReduce is. So there are problems that come up, and because this is a production system and because it has essentially these high availability requirements and low SLA requirements, we need to be able to bring a system that goes down back up as quickly as we can. So I've been working on a lot of repair tools to make it so that the amount of downtime
within HBase, not HTFS.
Within HBase itself.
Yes, got it.
Like, we want to minimize the amount of downtime that's necessary due to, let's say, a bug or something funny happening in HBase. They still happen rarely, but when they do happen, we want to be able to recover from them quickly. So that's been a good chunk of my time. Another part of it is, going over these customer escalations, trying to find out like potentially what some of these problems are, so that we can solve those things more quickly. And then, I guess the other major thing is, Cloudera has been growing. It's been growing pretty quickly.
This year in particular.
Throttled
up hard.
Yeah, I mean, and what we've really been able to do this year is like bring on a lot of new engineers, a lot of new support engineers, a lot of new, people who are gaining expertise in the system. So actually, a lot of my time is spent helping these folks come up to speed so they can do mentoring
and training, right?
Training,
just ramp up.
Making tools so that they don't have to be as expert as like a committer on the particular project would be. And it takes time, it takes effort, but it also makes it so that we can better serve our growing number of customers.
How is the HBase community right now in terms of actual committers? How's the size? Is it still a small kernel and it's growing pretty rapidly? But you have your big whales out there, Facebook and StumbleUpon and Riot Games and whatnot. But they're doing some good work there.
So yeah, right now we have the community. The core community is 18 committers and PMC members. So that basically means that this group of 18 people essentially are the folks that are controlling the direction, the releases, and where HBase is going. I think 2 are at StumbleUpon, 3 are at Cloudera, and one of them is myself. There's 5 or 6 at Facebook, 1 at Twitter, 1 at Trend, Micro, 1 at eBay. So basically a lot of the companies I'm mentioning are obviously like major users of the system or providing support for the system.
If I want to, as we're obviously for our SiliconANGLE project, we're investing in HBase and a variety of other projects. We're totally into it, and Hadoop, thanks to you guys and Mike and Amr and the whole team over there. It wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be doing it. But we're going to start hiring engineers now. So this is kind of a use case that's just not my challenge. It's others. Yeah. People want to contribute. So I want to hire guys that can be contributing to the open source and really, in an authentic way, and really get behind it. What's the process for that? So, I mean legitimate, not a throwaway, not a token, gesture. If you're a big company, we've seen that with other failed attempts. Legitimate startup and/or mid-sized company, or maybe even a large company. How do they ingratiate into the community?
Yeah, so I think the easiest and most obvious way is sign up for the mailing lists and start helping other people, and kind of use the experience that you've gained from using the system, and ask questions, answer questions, and we've definitely given people CommitBit who are just helpful in the community, and try to answer difficult questions based on their experience, right? The next level is to get involved with development. Like, it might be that, if we gave a better, like just as an example, if we gave a better error message, you can write a patch that will fix that error message so it'll tell me something actionable to fix whatever this symptom that I'm seeing. And, we've seen a bunch of these kinds of things where like the symptom that we see doesn't really tell you what the root cause is. And like, if you've dealt with this problem multiple times and you're just like, oh, I wish the error message was better. Just write like, it's going to be a relatively quick patch to say, if we just had this little extra information, it would give us a better thread to pull on to find out what the heck was.
That's good citizenship right there.
That's absolutely good citizenship. It is a great way to figure out how to do patches and how to.
So it's a typical earn your way into it in a very collaborative way.
We're a friendly bunch, and we'll help you through the process of getting a patch in. And in all honesty, like starting off with a technically trivial patch is probably a really good way just to get started to understand. There's all these tools you have to learn, like Maven and the Java compiler and Git and SVN. There's a whole bunch of tools that that actually is probably the biggest hurdle to doing a contribution, generating a patch. But once you have that process down, then you can focus more on getting a better.
We use a lot of sports analogies here on the Cube because we call it the ESPN of tech. But,
so this is kind of the hazing.
Well, no, it's more a combine workout too. Hazing's once you get into the club, I guess, or the fraternity. But really, it's more of show your skills and be a professional and just be honorable and show your show your muscle, right? I mean, demonstrate.
Yeah.
What better way than just write code, right?
Yeah, I mean, and like.
And not be a jerk, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much any time, like, the people we look for in committers are making good technical contributions, are helping people in the community, and they're also, agreeable people and people that we can trust, And when I say trust, it's like, I have the commit bit, and I actually have the right to modify anything in there, but like, I'm only gonna modify and commit code changes to areas that I understand well, or unless I get like a second opinion from the person that I know knows that section well. Like, that's kind of like there's these guardrails, and you know what your limitations are, and maybe you'll grow into some of these other areas over time. But
three strikes you're out philosophy almost. Right?
I don't know about that. But, some of us have learned the hard way. Some of us kind of see this, and it's overall healthy, right? Because I think as long as the net effect is a positive.
Okay, having a commit bit and being on one of 18, the Power 18, the Keiretsu there. What's going on in terms of timetable? What's the mindset of the group? Obviously, be cautious, do the right thing, but also there's some pressure to ramp up and get this thing going. The demand is obviously high here at the HBase Con. It's sold out, and this demand. I mean,
everybody who comes to the table, everybody who's contributing code to the project. They have things that they care about. You could say it's their own agenda. From my point of view, I'm at Cloudera. I support a wide variety of customers and many customers. So from my point of view, I'm going to spend my time focused on correctness and focused on making it so that it's easier to support and operate. Because that is what relieves stress from my shoulders.
Yeah.
Different folks like maybe the Facebook guys, they'll just avoid certain features altogether and focus on performance of one particular part because that's what makes their application hum. And other people like the Salesforce guys, they really care about their disaster recovery story, so they're going to invest there. And overall, everybody in the community can provide feedback.
Well, that's
and there's going to be some general
some specialism based on their interest, right?
Yeah,
their agenda. They got to pay the bills.
There's basically this HBase project is the system is giving you these capabilities that you couldn't have before. And
what have you learned over the past 2 years in particular with the HBase evolution? Because projects can get traction and become a lightning strike and grow in a mega way like this one is. What have you learned personally and also within the group?
Yeah, so I've been involved in other projects in the past, and I think I like the way the community in the HBase project acts. In general, we're pretty good at getting to a consensus. We like each other as people for the most part.
On most of the days, right?
On most of the days. No. I don't mean that in any bad way.
I know.
I'll go have a beer with most of the guys who are in San Francisco.
I was just being facetious. No problem. I was just joking.
But we all kind of know that everybody has their particular use cases that they're trying to get out, and sometimes they overlap and sometimes they don't, and sometimes we have these existential questions. What is the goal of HBase? What is the HBase going to be in a year? What's it going to be in 2 years? And what are kind of certain priorities? And Cloudera is going to push on certain things. Facebook is going to push on certain things. Stumble is going to push on other things.
At the end of the day, it's an open source project. It's in the open.
It's out in the open, and I think at the end of the day, the things that Stumble and Facebook and Salesforce and eBay are trying to solve with it are the things that Cloudera has to care about, because some of these folks are our customers and all these folks are in the community with us. So if there's certain things that they're less interested in pushing on that's important to us, we'll push on them. Like an example, one thing that's going to come out in the 96 version of HBase, which is probably 6 months from now, I'm guessing, whatever. It's we've done a big push on wire compatibility so we can get the upgrade story better. And if you went to some of the earlier talks today, this is a pain point that Facebook has mentioned. This is a pain point that we care about because a lot of our customers are concerned about it. It's a pain point that everybody has. But at the end of the day, it's not, it's a lot of work to get this done. And one of our guys, Jimmy Hsieh, has kind of taken the lead and kind of pushed that and helped coordinate a lot of the other guys who are interested in working with it. And it's great because we're working with the Stumble guys, we're working with the Hortonworks guys even. We're working with all kinds of folks to get this, set of functionality pushed through so that, next year when we start upgrading from HBase, it becomes a much easier path without having to deal with downtime.
Well, congratulations on all your success. It's great to know you, and I wish I could stay in your office now that you have more space. And I have an office space now, so it's a great year and a half to get to know you on a personal level and watch you guys grow as a company and individuals. It's been fantastic. Cloudera is a rocket ship, and you guys are doing some great work. And I think you guys have managed the balance of the integrity of the business and also the performance of pushing the code out in a good way. So congratulations. High availability tools, making HBase recover faster. It's great stuff. Thanks for coming on theCUBE. Appreciate it. And we'll see you again soon. So we'll be right back with our next guest right after this short break.